Hi everyone, this is Corey at Aquarium Co-op. Today I want to do an update on the Lowe's breeder rack system. So you can look in the comments and see a link to that below on how to set it up. But a lot of people ask me, how are the tanks holding up, how are the stands doing? And someone asked me that comment today, and I said, you know what, I will shoot that video today. So here it is. So I've still got the 640 breeders set up. These aren't on auto water change or anything like that. They're the first tanks in the fish room, the new fish room that you're probably watching me build. But so far, you know, I haven't had any problems. I moved them from the house we were renting to the house we bought, and I actually left the bottom ones here, drained the water down to basically nothing, but left them in the tank or in the stands. I moved them. You know, if we look at the stands here, there's no extra bowing or anything like that. Yeah, so all I can say is that my stands have held up just fine. They're doing what I need them to do. Yeah, so I have on this rack here, I have some Tetra tanks, and I have some Aquarium tanks. And so the important part about that is there's some trim differences. So for instance, this tank here is a Tetra tank, and this one here is an Aquarium tank. And so the trim itself is slightly different, and so sometimes, like on the Tetra tanks, you can see here if you look, also these tanks are side by side, you can see the trim here is thicker than here, stuff like that. And so sometimes you get where it's going to sit on top of this ledge flat, and sometimes it's going to sit on the inside here. And to be honest, it doesn't really matter, because the tabs that are kind of going horizontal underneath the plywood, not the plywood, the press board, are going to support it anyway. The goal is that you don't have, let's say, one edge up on here and the back edge not on there, because that's going to create a tilt to it. The other things you want to watch out for is that it's on a level surface. So if you're putting it right up against a wall, sometimes you're going to have carpet tack and stuff like that. That would be a problem. So you just want to make sure that it's, you know, nice and easy. Now I've got them on concrete floors. So that's, you know, I don't have any issues at all. And yeah, so I turn the air off, so there's no air bubbling in the tanks at the moment, but I can show you my algae farm here. And normally you would say, oh god, this looks terrible, but it does look terrible. Let's not pretend it doesn't look terrible, but what it does allow me to do is breed all these red Russian lace guppies. And if I put a light here up front so you can see them. So yeah, this is red Russian lace guppies. You can also see I breed them with orange shrimp, and you know, there's babies in the moss, and then you can see shrimp. And when you look in here, you start seeing lots of shrimp and lots of babies in this, I keep calling it moss, this algae. So, you know, a lot of people would say, oh, it's horribly unsightly. This is what I call, you know, a working tank or a breeder tank. And it's purely here to produce, and it's producing lots of shrimp, lots of babies, stuff like that. So yeah. Then we have a tank here. Let me back out and zoom. This is breeding some Variatus platies, and we've got guppy grass, and we also have orange shrimp in here. And you can see I've given them cover, and so lots of orange shrimp are surviving just fine. There's also albino cories. Down here we have what's left of a breeding crystal red shrimp tank. And you can see there's still a few in there. I think I might only have females or males or something, because they're not really producing much anymore. But I took most of them to the store and sold them, so that tank's kind of sitting in limbo, and I'll end up tearing it down and setting it up on the water change system and stuff like that. Down here there's a few little oddballs, just a few shell dwellers, you know, an algae and a rock, but yeah, that's just how that goes. up here we've got some Weitzmanni aquariums and some Julii. I'll probably end up trying to spawn them and stuff like that. There's a few other random fish like some plecos and just plants and storage. These are actually some wonderbulbs, you know, so if you watch the wonderbulb video, it did turn into a jungle, but I didn't have time to film as I was moving and stuff like that, so yeah. Then down below here, the last 40 breeder with lots of algae. Lots of panda guppies, and they're all feeding on an algae wafer at the moment. I guess I could pull the light up and that would help as well. But yeah, there's also assassin snails, and there's also the pygmy swordtail, which that's a pretty rare fish in the US at the moment. It took me quite a while to track down. This is the yellow form, but eventually I'll get that into its own breeder tank over there on the racks. But for right now, it's just a nice established ecosystem. You can see it's probably a male chasing some stuff around. But as you just saw, you kind of see the panda guppy size in those. Those were full grown, so that's what's cool about those. But I would say, you know, a lot of people question whether these racks work. All I can say is I'm still using them. I'll look at the YouTube data of the other video, and I can tell you how long they've been set up. They've been through a move. They're working for me, you know. Anyone can say, oh, I don't trust it, I don't think it's gonna work. And I would tell you that if you can't sleep at night because you're using these racks, then don't use them. I'm just showing you what I found to be easy myself, and that's what I always do. I'll show you what I'm doing, and if you think it's gonna work for you, give it a try. If you don't think it's gonna work for you, build something else or do another stand or buy a stand. But this is what I found to be quick and easy, and I'll probably turn these back here into actual shelves again for like my garage once I'm done putting tanks on them. So yeah,